All right, so we're diving into some, let's just say, unique notes this time.
Definitely unique.
Yeah, I mean, cryptic scribblings from a cave in the Baw Baw Mountains. Talk about an intriguing start.
Someone sent us these notes, right? It's weird. They're all fragmented, like pages ripped right out of a diary or something.
Hmm.
But they describe this whole other world.
We've got this Grantilda.
Grantilda, yeah.
Yeah.
Even the name has this kind of mystery to it, you know?
Totally. So these notes, they're like a glimpse into another world. And at the heart of it, we've got Grantilda, this creature, living in a cottage.
It's almost like folklore, the way she's described. But then again, with these notes, who knows?
Right. Like, is she a mythical being?
Well, about that mythical being part, the notes mention her blood being made of black tea and sugar.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Black tea and sugar. Not exactly your average blood type.
Definitely not. It makes you wonder if there's a symbolic meaning there. Black tea, maybe strength, tradition, and sugar, sometimes it represents this deceptive sweetness.
Ooh, interesting. So Grantilda, maybe she was powerful, respected even, but with a hidden side. A little dangerous, perhaps.
It's possible. And speaking of dangerous, we have to talk about those companions of hers.
Oh, yeah, the companions. Where do we even begin? A toxic fluid shooting, flute playing, feline.
Sounds like someone had a bit too much fun with those cave drawings. But seriously, it's a fascinating combination of features.
And the notes describe this thing, get this, as a tiny cauldron running around on little legs. And it's, well, let's just say it doesn't sound very friendly. Hissing, spitting this toxic goo at anything that comes close.
It's remarkable, really, that kind of defense mechanism. It makes you wonder what sort of environment would lead to something like that evolving.
Yeah, for sure. Like, what's lurking around out there that makes a tiny cauldron creature evolve to spit poison? It really makes you think. Anyway, moving on. Next on our list is the Guinea tuxedo cat. And no, this isn't your grandma's lap cat. This one is described as being huge. And I mean huge-y, like almost cartoonishly big, with a body that apparently resembles, of all things, an accordion. And instead of hissing...
And the fur is mint.
Right. Mint. The notes say it sends this cat into, like, a state of pure bliss. Oh, and I almost forgot the best part. It has this habit of jumping onto people's backs, but only at twilight, naturally.
I have to say, it is quite intriguing how certain substances can have such pronounced effects on different species.
Yeah.
This whole mint thing, it makes you wonder about the neurological mechanisms at play.
Yeah, that's a whole other deep dive right there. Anyway, sprinkled among these crazy creature descriptions, we start getting these little glimpses into Grantilda herself. She lives in this cottage, and the notes mention her spending a lot of time in what they call digital gardens.
An interesting detail. It does make you wonder if she's perhaps engaging with some sort of early virtual world.
It does, doesn't it? Maybe she was ahead of her time.
And it doesn't stop there. The notes mention a young man who seems completely devoted to the accordion creature, almost like caretaker, or perhaps even a servant.
It's unclear, but there's definitely an element of servitude there. Then there's this woman who's constantly surrounded by mountains of wool, always crafting, creating. It makes you wonder, what's the significance of all this wool?
It's an interesting detail for sure. And get this, 3 guinea pigs, but not your average guinea pigs. 2 were normal-sized, but the third one, huge, like abnormally large and with red hair.
Hold on, a giant red-haired guinea pig? Are we sure this isn't some elaborate joke?
I wish I were kidding. And to make it even stranger, it always seems to be found in a tiny chair, like it's the king of the guinea pigs or something.
That is strangely adorable and utterly perplexing. You have to wonder, what kind of person would collect such a, shall we say, eclectic group of creatures?
It's an eclectic bunch, that's for sure. It's like a bizarre sitcom just waiting to happen.
I'd watch that show.
It makes you wonder, is Grantilda orchestrating this somehow? Or is she just, like, a magnet for the unusual?
Right, what's the common thread here? And as if all that wasn't enough, it gets even weirder. The notes mention this mysterious figure. They call him the Hilltop Stander.
Hilltop Stander. Okay, that's just ominous sounding.
Right, and he's only seen a few times a year, like clockwork. Always wears a creepy, grinning mask and these long coattails that flow behind him.
So picture this. Late at night, standing on a hilltop, shrouded in shadow, this grinning mask.
Like something out of a horror movie. And get this, nobody seems to know what his deal is. All
Right.
they know is he always meets with Grantilda and her unusual entourage, and there's this whole exchange involving chocolate eggs.
Chocolate eggs. Well, that's a bit less sinister. Unless they're filled with, actually, never mind.
Yeah, who knows with these guys, right? But seriously, it's all so bizarre.
You know, when you lay it all out like this, it does make you wonder. The timing of his visits, often coinciding with holidays or seasonal changes, right? It makes me think of ancient rituals, transitions, and transformations.
And the eggs.
Right, and the chocolate eggs.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the surface, a treat, right? But think about it. Eggs, rebirth, new beginnings.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a deeper meaning there. It's a lot to unpack.
It really is. And the million-dollar question is, what does it all mean? What's the connection? What is the nature of Grantilda's power? What binds this odd group together? Who is Hilltop Stander? And what's the significance of those chocolate eggs?
Don't forget the notes themselves. Don't you find it a little strange? All this left aside an abandoned cauldron. Someone was watching this strange household. Why? Were they fascinated,
Oh.
afraid, trying to warn others?
It's like we've stumbled into a story with the beginning and end ripped out, you know? We're left with nothing but these bizarre puzzle pieces and no sense of the bigger picture.
Perhaps that's the real question, isn't it? Not just what it all means, but who was meant to find these notes? And what were they supposed to do with this knowledge?
What's the takeaway here? What are we supposed to make of all this?
That's the beauty of it, isn't it? There's no easy answer. These notes, they could be fragments of a forgotten mythology, a coded message, or even just someone's wild imagination running free.
Maybe someone got bored in that cave and let their mind wander. Who knows?
Exactly. But maybe, just maybe, there's more to it. Maybe there are other caves out there, more notes, more pieces of the puzzle.
Hidden deeper in those Baw Baw mountains. Now that's a thought. And hey, if anyone finds a cave drawing of a cat leaping on someone at sunset, you know who to call.
Please don't. But in all seriousness, these notes, they remind us that there are still mysteries out there, things we may never fully understand. And sometimes, that's okay.
It's more than okay. Sometimes it's downright fascinating. So what do you think, listeners? What's your take on Grantilda and her curious companions? Head over to our website and let us know.